Hi, my name is Tatiana Putnam. Today's date is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. I have it on my phone there, and just for confirmation, it is there as well. And I chose to do a case study on ectopic pregnancies and what this means. So the first thing I wanted to ask myself, first thing I feel like it's most important to know, is what is an ectopic pregnancy. So this happens when a fertilized egg implants and starts growing outside the uterus. This most commonly occurs in fallopian tubes, however it can occur in other parts of the body, such as the abdominal cavity or like the space between the ovary and the fallopian tube, or in the ovary itself. This is a life-threatening condition. The embryo cannot survive outside of the uterus, so it must be removed. And some of the most common symptoms of ectopic pregnancies are severe pelvic pain and vaginal bleeding due to the embryo not being implanted in the right place. Next question is, how can fertilization occur outside the oviduct? The oviduct is simply the ovary in human females. Typically, fertilization occurs within the fallopian tube, where the fertilized egg then moves to the uterus to implant, and if the ovum is fertilized outside of the fallopian tube or before the fallopian tube, this can definitely cause an ectopic pregnancy. So this happens when sperm are present in the rectouterine recess within the peritoneum. So this is the space between the ovary and the fallopian tube. This is where the ovum is then fertilized at the ovarian surface as it leaves the site of ovulation. So as it leaves the ovary, that's where it is fertilized, and it can cause implantation in the ovary, fallopian tube, or abdominal cavity. It can also travel to the uterus, but if fertilization occurs here, it can definitely cause an ectopic pregnancy as well. Ectopic pregnancies, you're going to have hormonal complications. So two of the hormones involved in diagnosing an ectopic pregnancy and hormones involved in ectopic pregnancies in general. The first one is human chorionic gonadotropin. This is a hormone produced by the placenta. In a normal pregnancy, the levels of this hormone should double every 48 hours. And if this does not occur, an ectopic pregnancy could be occurring. So blood will be taken and to see the levels of this, and is definitely one of the telltale signs of an ectopic pregnancy. Another hormone is progesterone. Normally, the levels of progesterone rise early in pregnancy. If the patient, has low levels, it can help diagnose an ectopic pregnancy. However, it is not an end-all, be-all type of hormone that can diagnose this. Other tests must be done, including levels of HCG, as well as an ultrasound to determine where the embryo is implanted, and then symptoms as well can help diagnosing ectopic pregnancy. So we talked about it being a life-threatening condition. So why is it life-threatening? Well, it's life-threatening for the fetus and the embryo because it cannot develop outside the uterus. The embryo and fetus need nutrients and space, and be able to get oxygen, and they need a bunch of stuff that the uterus provides. The uterus is here, and it's a specialized function organ. It provides life. It helps develop a fetus, and other organs such as the fallopian tube or, God forbid, the abdominal cavity do not have the things needed to support life. It is also life-threatening for the mother because if it's not caught early, the fallopian tube can burst. This can lead to life-threatening bleeding, especially if it's not caught early enough after the fallopian tube bursts as well. And an ectopic pregnancy in general can cause internal bleeding, which can lead to infection and then lead to death if there is too much blood loss. Ectopic pregnancy is also the most common cause of maternal death in the first trimester, which was very surprising for me to learn, and it just shows how important it is to treat ectopic pregnancies and how life-threatening it actually is. And then on the image to the left here, we have some places where the embryo can implant. That is an ectopic pregnancy. So about 1% of ectopic pregnancies occur in the abdominal region. So the embryo implants basically outside of the reproductive system altogether. There's also interstitial pregnancies and ischemic pregnancies. These occur in the space between the fallopian tube and the uterus, just spaces that is not viable for life. When we have ambulatory pregnancies, this is our fallopian tube. This is where, like we said, the most common ectopic pregnancies occur, about 70% of ectopic pregnancies. There's also fimbrial pregnancies. This is the space between the ovary and the fallopian tube where the egg must travel once it is released during ovulation. And we also have ovarian pregnancies where the embryo implants inside the ovary. Obviously, again, not feasible for life. So how are ectopic pregnancies treated, and what are the possible consequences of that treatment? So if it is caught in later stages, surgery is normally a go-to. So the physician will perform a laparoscopy to remove the ectopic pregnancy. And if it's even later than that, the fallopian tube may burst, and the consequences of that is you have to remove the entire fallopian tube. This then lowers the possibility of another pregnancy, as there is 2 ovaries and there is 2 fallopian tubes, and eggs are released. One's released 1 month from one ovary, and another one's released the next month from the other ovary. If you take away one of the fallopian tubes, your chances of pregnancy are much lower, as well as having the trauma from that surgery. Scar tissue can build up, and overall it just lowers the possibility of another pregnancy, which is super detrimental to the mother if she is trying to conceive. If caught early, drug therapy is a go-to treatment for an ectopic pregnancy, and what this drug does is it stops the embryo from dividing and growing. So they will inject via IV this drug in order to do this. And the side effects are abdominal pain and vaginal bleeding, as essentially the woman is going through a miscarriage. She has to shed this embryo that has started growing in her fallopian tube. So that's, why those symptoms are very common. And then I found it important, due to events going on in today, to talk about more into treatments of ectopic pregnancies, as currently ectopic pregnancies can be criminalized in some states because it is essentially an abortion, and where abortion is legal, some ectopic pregnancies have also been made illegal to remove. So one of these examples, you'll see this a lot in the news today, just from different states, but one of these is in Ohio, a legislator has introduced a bill to, quote, reimplant an ectopic pregnancy, or it will be an abortion murder. So essentially, if an removal of an ectopic pregnancy occurs, he is considering it murder because it goes against the state's current abortion bill. In Texas, hospitals have been blocking physicians from providing care to patients with ectopic pregnancies. A hospital told a physician not to treat an ectopic pregnancy until it ruptures. In some states, states like Texas, it is illegal to remove a fetus if it still has a fetal heartbeat, which has created a lot of problems for physicians to know when to provide care for the mother, life-saving care in many cases, and when not to, because they can be charged for the murder of a fetus, even though the fetus is not viable anywhere else but the uterus. This is still detrimental. So people in states that currently ban abortions, and specifically ban abortions where a fetal heartbeat is still detected, they might have to seek treatment in other states for an ectopic pregnancy. Due to this, especially due to the heartbeat thing. I have seen several cases in the news where women have to travel 6, 10, 12 hours to a state with an ectopic pregnancy. I have seen cases where women have been in the hospital with an ectopic pregnancy, and they've been bleeding severely, where they need life-saving care. They need to remove the fetus or the embryo, but the doctor won't do it because it currently goes against state laws. Like I said, they can get in trouble for it if it still has a heartbeat. So essentially they have to wait sometimes 1, sometimes 2 days until the heart stops beating before they can try to save the mother, at which point may or may not be possible. So I just thought it was super important to talk about how treatment for ectopic pregnancies is very different today than it was a couple months ago, a couple years ago. Thank you very much for listening, and these are my sources. Thanks.